All right, it's Chris's kitchen time, and I already made a big mistake. I started recording, I paused it, and then I stopped it. So I had no way of continuing from where I was, so we're starting all over again. Gonna address something, and you can fast forward through this real quick, which I was doing before, but lost it. This pan belonged to my ex. In one of my videos, I joked that she left it here, so it's mine now. I text her and I said, hey, do you want this pan? I'd like to keep it, but if you want it. And she didn't reply other than to like the text, which is a form of communication for her. So she liked the text. So I assumed I could keep it. Somebody in one of the comments said I was stealing it. I'm not stealing it. She knows where I live. She can come here anytime she wants and gets it. I'm 10 minutes down the road from our work. All she has to do is stop by after work, unblock me and say, hey, can I come get my pan? Yes, you can come get your pan. Why am I blocked? Because I like Twin Peaks girls, and that's a problem for her, even though she's with somebody else. All right, like I said, you can fast forward through that part. Also, she has like 90% of my Tupperware. I hardly have any Tupperware to put this stuff in that I'm about to cook, and I'm trying to give some to my daughter, but I don't have any matching lids with, I have like 2 matching lids with containers. So, she's got some of my stuff, I got some of her stuff. That's what happens when you're in relationships. So there's no need for a comment saying I'm stealing something. Somebody leaves something at your house and doesn't come get it, that's not stealing. Anyways, she also knows about it regardless. She didn't come get it. So, let's look at what we got that I already did in the first video. Alright, we got the meats over there. That's the andouille sausage, and we got chicken thighs. All cut up with scissors. Those cutlers are, you know, the kitchen shears are the best way to cut meat in my opinion. They're a lot easier than just trying to sway a knife back and forth, especially when your knife is crap, which most of mine are. We're making jambalaya, by the way, which you would have read already. We got a trinity of vegetables. Trinity of vegetables when it comes to the jambalaya. It's pepper, onion, and celery, bell pepper. I don't like green bell peppers. That's what most people use. So I'm using orange. So they're already cut up because I already started the video. Meat's cut up. Onions, all this is already cut up. We're going to be using 2 cans of chicken broth as the liquid. A little bit of tomato paste for color. Seasoning. Let's see. This is Tony Cha Creole seasoning. Whatever that says. Alright. We already got a pan heating up over here, right? You see it? There it is. Take the lid off of that. I was actually wanting to use the excess pan, but I don't have a lid for it, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And this pan may not be big enough. We're going to find out. Alright, a little bit of oil. You just want a little bit to cover the bottom. You don't need a whole lot. Okay, you're not cooking in oil. You're just keeping the bottom like that. So, first thing we're going to do is cook the meat. The chicken's not going to be cooked all the way right away. Although I did pre-cook it a little bit in the air fryer for like 4 minutes. Not that you should do that, but just for my own peace of mind. Alright, so we got the chicken in there. This is parchment paper that I use in the air fryer if you're wondering. Alright, chicken's in there. We're going to hit it with the seasoning right away. Move that shit around. Okay, we're on medium heat. You cook almost everything on medium unless you're boiling. Then it's high heat, and then you're simmering, that's low heat. Pretty much the basics of everything. So we're gonna let this cook for a little bit. I'm gonna move it around some, and I'll be back. All right, I hit the right button. So the andouille sausage, it's made in the South. They make it out of a lot of different things. They'll put a lot of different meats in there, kind of like a hot dog. But it's what's popular for this. You can use other kind of sausage. Also, a lot of people use shrimp. I'm not using shrimp because I want this to last a while, and I don't really like the way shrimp tastes the second and third day. All right, so we're throwing the sausage in there with the chicken. Chicken's had a little bit of time in there. When I say a little bit, I mean literally a couple minutes. some more seasoning in there. I'm going to be putting this seasoning on throughout the cooking process. Some people don't. I do. The thing about the chicken is, once we get to the part where we put the rice in, the rice is going to have to cook for a while. So the chicken and the sausage are going to be in there with it. So it doesn't need to be cooked all the way. It's going to get cooked. Although it's browning very well right now. You want that sausage to hit the bottom of the pan and get all them juices out of there. A lot of times, me personally, I would cook like veggies in one pan and then cook the meat in another pan, but it's traditional to cook the veggies in the after juices of the meat. So that's what we're going to do. But first, we got to let them cook a little bit. I'm going to give them a couple more minutes and come back. Alright, so I'm actually going to use this pan just to hold the meat while I cook the vegetables. Want to take a look at the meat? Let's look at the meat. Sausage and chicken, jambalaya. If you're going to put the shrimp or even crawfish, they use crawfish too. If you're going to put those in there, you want to do them absolutely like last. Like you'll see when we boil the rice, we bring it up to a boil on the rice, then we simmer the rice. At the end of that process, when you got about 5-6 minutes left, is when you want to cook the shrimp, because you really don't. Most shrimp comes pre-cooked anyways. You don't have to do a whole lot to it. All right. So anyway, we're gonna put all this shit in here. Now it would help if I had a spoon with holes in it, so I don't lose all this juice. But I'm not losing a whole lot. There's still a little bit left in there. Let me show you. See that? It's even boiling. That's where we're going to put the vegetables in. And we're going to turn the heat down a little bit. Start getting these vegetables in there. Of course, this shit's going to get everywhere. Now, I'm not putting any recommended amount of how much you should use on this stuff. It's all to your own liking. You got to think about how much is this going to make versus how much veggies do I want in it, how much meat do I want in it, how much rice. I did half of an onion. Definitely don't need a whole onion in my opinion. Probably don't even need a half. Probably need half of a half, but I did a half anyway. Half of an onion. 1 bell pepper, as you saw. 2 stalks of celery. It's funny because even though the X that I mentioned is gone, I still think about the fact that she don't like celery. And would I have put it in there if she was there? No, I wouldn't have. But, I don't know. After you're with somebody for 2 years, you just can't get shit out of your brain, you know? They can, but maybe you can't. So, got the veggies in there. It's on medium. We're going to let them cook for a little bit. We're also going to add a tablespoon of this Spice World minced garlic, okay? This has been in my fridge forever, but according to Nate Myers, who went to culinary school, and I did not, he says minced garlic lasts forever, so that's what we're going to do. Oh, we're going to add some more to seasons, too. Because why not? We'll add just a little bit of salt. There's really nothing else you need outside of this seasoning, okay? Some people may disagree, but it's really, you know, what kind of seasonings do you like in the end is what's important. Let's see, we can do some other stuff. There are 2 cutting boards. Let's get down here. We can open our cans of chicken broth if we can find the can opener. And that could be a problem. Hold on. Look what I found. There's a can opener was in the dishwasher. And there it is. Chicken broth. You know, you usually boil water, rice and water. Well, our liquid is mainly chicken broth this time. Oh, here's another thing. A lot of people add a can of diced tomatoes. I don't know why. Nobody else in the South does. But they do add a little bit of tomato paste. We're not adding any tomatoes. So all our liquid is going to come from our vegetables, the chicken broth, and the color is going to come from the tomato paste. This is a big can of tomato paste. I'm not adding this whole thing. It's going to be like a quarter of it, maybe a third of it. All right. That's supposed to be chicken broth. Sure as hell don't look like it. But we got to take store's word for it, right? All right, we got to mix the vegetables up some. Da-da-da-da. This recipe, look at that. Even though it seems like there's a lot of parts to it, there's really not that much to it, honestly. So, vegetables cooking down. We're gonna add the garlic. They say to add the garlic last because it can burn. I don't know how true that is. We're just gonna do a heaping tablespoon. We're gonna try to spread it around, and we failed. But it's in there. All right. Move it around. All right, let that cook a little bit and we will be back. All right, we're back. So I let the veggies cook for about 6-7 minutes. Now we're gonna start adding some other stuff. We're gonna add the meat back in. Oh, you gotta watch this in full screen, by the way. Can't get that wide angle in my crib. All right, put all that shit back in there. Put this back up to medium. I had lowered it while the vegetables were in there. Put that back in there. Like I said, we're going to use about 1/4 cup of this tomato paste. We're not going to use a whole bunch. So this is a 12-ounce can. A cup technically is 8 ounces, just FYI. I don't know if y'all know that. So just get like the top part out of there. All right, that's enough tomato paste. After tomato paste, we're going to mix it in a little bit. We're going to add the chicken broth. We got 2 cans here. Some people use a lot more, really depends on how much rice you're putting in it. For every cup of rice, you should have 2 cups of whatever liquid you're using. So this is a little over 2 cups since a cup is 8 ounces. You know, we got 12 and 12, I think. No, this is 14 ounces. This is even more. So it's a little, it's like 2.5 cups. So we're going to put 1.5 cups of rice, okay? Hold on. I got this rice here. It was also left by my ex. She wants it, she can come get it. And she don't like that I'm using it, I'll buy her some more. But anyway, I got it, so why waste it? Be stupid to waste it. More than happy, more than welcome to come get it. She's more than welcome to come eat if she wants to, but she won't, so it don't matter. All right. Measuring cups. I got a big one too, but it's old and I think there's a crack in it. This works perfectly fine. Hopefully I can just dip it in there and don't have to worry about turning it upside down and getting it all over the damn place. All right, you just want long grain rice. I don't know what kind of rice this is, honestly. She bought it, so. But it works. There's a cup. Like I said, 1.5 cups since we're using a little over 2 cups of. All right, so I could use a 1/2 cup measuring thing, but what I'm just looking at, where is this half in this cup? Because it's that simple. Ooh, don't spill. All right. So there's the rice. Thank you, X, for leaving that. Appreciate it. You are feeding me and my daughter. Assuming that she stops by and gets some tonight, because that's the plan. Alright, so scoop the rice in there. We're going to bring this up to a boil. So we're going to go to almost the letters H-I, which means high. Alright, come over here, we can see how it looks. Oh, it's getting ready to... Now it's got everything I'm going to put in there. Like I said, other people will put shrimp in there. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting diced tomatoes in. A couple people did that on videos. I don't know why. That's the thing, I guess. You can always hit it with some more seasoning. I'll tell you something about seasoning. You can put a whole bunch in there and it'd still not be enough. Of course, you don't want to overdo it, but it takes a lot. Alright. We're going to give that time to boil. And we'll be back. Alright. We're back. It's a little boil there. People say in their videos, oh, bring it up to a simmer. No, you bring it up to boil, then you're putting it on simmer, right? That's how it works. So it's a boil, and we go back to low simmering heat. And give it a minute to cool down, and we're going to cover it. And we're going to stir it. Make sure everything's incorporated. It's looking pretty good. I probably should have cut the chicken thighs a little smaller. Alright, we're going to cover that up, let it simmer. It'd probably be best to actually move it to a different burner that hasn't been hot the whole time and put the simmer there. But it'd probably be okay. As long as while you're doing it, you stir it once in a while. Just FYI, because I know people at work watch, especially people on overnights. I mentioned that thing about the pan and my ex because somebody commented that I was stealing it. She knows about it. She can come get it whenever she wants. But this will be the last time I ever mention her because she has such a big problem with it. But I'm not saying any names, of course, just like I never have. But you don't have to worry about me mentioning her again. That's over and done. But the pan's here if she wants it. All right. Real quick, I got off track. So we got it back down to low, and it's going to simmer for 20 to 30 minutes. It does take a minute to simmer. We're going to check it at like 15, stir it so it's not stuck to the bottom of the pan. Then we're going to come back about 10 minutes after that, and it should probably be done. So, pause, and we'll be back. We'll stir it in the middle. Don't need to show you that, but we'll come back when it's done. All right, real quick. I'm about 12 minutes into simmering. Let's see how it's coming up. See how the rice is coming up? Puffing, and the liquid's going away. That's why we're simmering, to get rid of that liquid, because it ain't gumbo, it's jambalaya. Cook it about 20 more minutes. Right now we're at about 12 minutes. I'm gonna cook it like 15-20 more minutes and see what's up. This is looking really good. Honestly, I probably only needed 1 cup of rice because it's a lot of rice. So maybe 1 cup of rice next time. I added some Worcestershire sauce, just like 2 tablespoons worth, just because I saw somebody else do that, and I was like, why not? And I added some more Creole seasonings, and we've been simmering about 20 minutes. I set a timer. It's at 1:21 right now, and this rice is really coming along. Let's take another look at it. You can see the sausage in there, the chicken in there. Kind of wish I'd put shrimp now. The trinity of vegetables: celery, onion, bell pepper. Timer's almost done for 20. In 20 minutes, it's come along really nicely. We're going to put 15 more minutes to simmer. I have stirred it a couple times. You should too. Simmering on low. In 15 minutes, it should be done. I'll be back. Hey, I'm back. We're doing the jambalaya. It's over there on the stove. I really thought this was a great angle because the light's coming in the back. Couple notes. Total cooking time on this was probably 45 minutes from prep to sear to sauteing the vegetables to adding in all the ingredients and then letting it simmer. It simmered for about 30, it's going on 35 minutes. It's pretty much done. I'm letting it go a little bit longer because I don't like my stuff to be, I don't want it to be wet because, you know, I want it to be pretty much just absorbing all the moisture that it can, all the rice absorbing all the moisture that it can. Pretty much done. This wasn't as fun as some of my other videos. I know some people get a good laugh, especially when I was talking about the spinach last time and the, you know, but it is what it is. I tried to get it done somewhat quick so that I could eat because I've eaten all day. Literally, it's freaking 5:30 p.m. already, and I was planning on heading to the Legion for to pick up some tickets for this raffle they got going on. But shit, it's almost bedtime thanks to me getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I probably will just go for a drive and call it a night. One more look. Let's look at it. Oh yeah. It's looking really good. You see how the rice came out of the liquid that I showed you earlier, puffed up and it absorbed all that moisture. That's what you want. And it looks really good. And we're going to eat it. Have a good night.